Good morning, Florida lacrosse fans. Morning coffee with Lee Roggenberg. Wednesday, hump day. Before we get into a heavy high school scene last night. Oh, God, so good. Okay. FHSAA heartburn. Let's start with that. Yesterday was the first day that the Florida High School Athletic Association on their website released the first go round of power rankings for the teams in the state, with the usual caveat that the first week or two of a power ranking usually is pretty difficult and gives you some heartburn. Let's give them, a week or two to sort of sort it out. But we're almost halfway through the season. Some of those positions were, shall we say, not exactly accurate. I'll be kind this morning about it and say, let's see what happens when the next iteration comes out. But no, whoever has programmed this has some explaining to do. We've asked for a full list of everything that has gone into calculating these things. I do know three things for sure that they've told me. Number one, margin of victory doesn't matter. Number two, forfeits don't count. Number three, preseason doesn't count. Now, that's all very nice and good. Plant at 26 in the state on the boys' side, you got to be kidding me. Lake Highland at number 6 in 1A on the girls' side, behind Out of Door Academy. Not to pick on Out of Door Academy. You got to be kidding me. How this system comes up with this is head scratching, whatever term you want to throw in. Let's see what happens when we get the information back. But I got to tell you something, Gainesville. Don't ignore the request on this one. Don't hide behind secrecy or whatever you want to call it. Because if you see teams that I'm ranking in the top 10 not making a bracket because of this system, trust me, I will be the least of your problems, as you will see. Okay. Let's start off on the girls' side last night. Let's get some of the easier scores out of the way, and then we'll focus on the key games. Palmetto 12-9 win. I believe it was over Westminster Christian. I think I put down Palmetto twice by accident on my sheet. Plant 15-11 over Berkeley Prep. Cape Coral 7-1 over Golden Gate. Archbishop McCarthy 10-5 over Park Vista. Western 12-6 over Flanagan. South Fork 14-8 over Jupiter. Buchholz 9-4 over Nice. Gulf Coast 9-7 over Manatee. A lot of easy winners last night. Key West, Windermere Prep, Heritage Plantation, Oak Hall, Benjamin, Newsom, Cypress Lake, Riverview, Sarasota, Kings Academy, Apopka, Seacoast Collegiate, Bartram Trail, Gulf Breeze, All Saints Academy, Santa Fe, Pensacola Catholic, Oviedo, Lakewood Ranch, Venice, Fort Myers, Cardinal Gibbons, Palm Harbor, and Jensen Beach. By the way, Jensen Beach is really showing up this year. Nice to see them. It's not a program I've had ranked last year. I don't think at any point. I'm going to definitely pay even more attention now. Now, there were 4 key games last night. Sickles handling Calvary Christian. Again, we talk about positioning for at-large bursts. Sickles started off slow, has had some injury issues this year. Now, I happen to have 2 scores for some reason. On Twitter last night, they posted 11-10. On Max Preps, they posted 13-12. So those who were there obviously know what happened. Mild upset in Orlando, Lake Mary, 13-12 over Haggerty. Again, good for Lake Mary. I think I considered them for the poll, didn't elevate them. But I certainly have to consider that this week. Meriden Heritage Delray, part of the doubleheader I attended, 17-9 over Pinecrest. It was an 8-6 game, I believe, early in the third and then, or late in the second, and then American Heritage Delray went on a 8-goal run to put the game away. Those who watched the game or didn't see, or haven't maybe seen Delray in action this year, they have such a smart offensive scheme. I will discuss that a little further in the article I'm going to put up. It's not going to be your normal game recap because it's going to be for both games, with the Pinecrest boys also hosting St. Andrews last night. It's going to be more of a fan in the stands, and I'm going to give my impressions about the Heritage Delray offense, which has a relatively simple philosophy that they execute beautifully. And then last night, the biggest game on the girls' side, Steinbrenner, their signature win as a program, 9-8 over Lake Island Prep. Congratulations to them for that. I've been watching Steinbrenner pretty much since the beginning of last year. The reputation of the sophomore class, which is now juniors. The only thing they had not really done was to come up with that one big win over a big name opponent in a top 5 position. Last year, they lost in the semifinals to St. Thomas by a goal. They lost earlier this week to Vero Beach by a goal. But now they finally have done it. They took down Lake Island Prep, and we shall see how much that carries forward in 2A, which is on the girls' side wide open this year. Good to them. Keep it up. Okay, back to the boys' side. Last night we had 6 key scores I wanted to touch on, but let's get to the others first. West Broward 15-10 over Coral Reef. West Broward looks more and more like it's pretty much clinched its at least at-large berth into 2A. Florida Christian 11-4 over St. Brendan. Fleming Island 11-6 over St. Augustine, again in a battle for at-large status. Lake Brantley 6-4 over Haggerty, also might make that difference. Wharton 11-10 over Sun Lake. Stoneman 14-9 over Ransom. Lakeland 6-4 over Tampa Catholic. Berkeley Prep 9-3 over Calvary Christian Clearwater. Western, big win, 22-15 over Gulliver Prep. Fort Myers 12-5 over Riverdale. Heritage Delray 11-8 over Spanish River. That might have ended Spanish River's at-large chances. Melbourne 9-8 over John Carroll. We had Naples 11-9 over Immokalee. Easy winners last night: Benjamin, Jensen Beach, Trinity Prep, Jesuit, Martin County, Montverde, Gulf Breeze, St. John Paul, Ponte Vedra, Lake Mary, Cardinal Mooney, Niceville, Newsom, Pensacola Catholic, Oxbridge, Columbus, Gulf Coast, and Riverview, Sarasota. Now for the key games last night. One of them, Jupiter, 13-9 win over Wellington, coming back after the 2 overtime victory over Plant, taking on a Wellington team that was certainly pointing for this game, undefeated coming in, had made it into my top 10 on 2A, and Wellington showing very well. Obviously, having not seen it, it's kind of hard to balance off the difference between Jupiter coming off that double overtime game versus Wellington. But either way, Wellington played them tough and certainly are showing that they're deserving of the ranking considerations. Windermere, very important win last night, 16-4 over Vero Beach. Windermere has been kind of in towards the bottom of the top 15, and probably at this point has certainly clinched enough even if they don't win their district, to be in the bracket. Westminster Christian 6-5 win over Miami Country Day. I kind of mentioned yesterday that if Miami Country Day had found a way to win that game, they would have slid into possible consideration on 1A. That would sound like an excellent game. Westminster Christian continues to be solid this year. And Miami Country Day, I want to give a quick shout out to Beck Trafton, a kid that I saw last year as, I believe, a freshman. I believe he's a sophomore this year. He is a very solid up-and-coming player, and we're definitely going to keep an eye on him. Steinbrenner upsetting Mitchell 14-12. Steinbrenner boys also getting a nice signature win for them. We'll see how that affects their at-large possibilities as well as district. Lake Highland, the old neighborhood slobber knocker, 15-7 over Bishop Moore. Good to see Lake Highland rebounding from their Georgia loss over the weekend. And last night I was in attendance. St. Andrews 10-5 over Pinecrest. Again, we'll get more details on that in the article. I will say that St. Andrews and Pinecrest, that was quite it was 6-5 after 3. This is, again, one of those situations where you look at the progression of the scores. Last year it was 9-3 and 9-4. And in both those games, St. Andrews got out the leads and basically put the game on ice with their defense. Last night, 6-5 going into the fourth, inching closer. And I can't do this justice by talking about it. I've asked for the film clip on it, hopefully get it today. 4 seconds into the fourth quarter, Sean Jordan did something that, as I said, I can't do it justice with words. You just have to see it. Basically swoops in on the wing, face off, snatches the ground ball in the middle of 3 people, and basically takes 2 steps, winds up from probably about 20 yards, and nails the top right corner with a long pole shot. And I think all of us who were there, regardless of what side we were on or who you were rooting for, would just look at that and say, wow. And then St. Andrews was able to basically put the game away, a couple of more goals and a shutout in the fourth quarter. But again, Pinecrest getting closer. And in all likelihood, we're going to see them again in the district finals. And then basically, because both of them are definitely going to be in the brackets, who knows, we might see a third game between them if the seeding works out in a certain way and wins occur. So great night last night, as you'll see when I write about it. Okay. A couple of brief things on the college side before we get to the key games tonight. Kaiser men 12-11 in double overtime over number 1 Reinhardt. I mentioned that yesterday. Oxbridge, Vinny Cerciolo, 3 goals and 1 assist for Kaiser in the win. St. Leo women beat Lee University. I guess it's around longer than me. 17-6. Fiona McLaughlin, 5 goals. Leah Lamandola, 4 goals and an assist in the win for St. Leo. And I have to apologize to Kaiser. It looks like I jinxed them yesterday, talking about how the next poll was going to be 2 number 1s, Kaiser men and Kaiser women in NAIA. And then the Kaiser women go ahead and lose at home last night to number 3, Lawrence Tech, 12-9. I hope it had nothing to do with what I said yesterday. But, so much for that story being written next week. Okay. Stoneman Douglas alum Sammy Fisher named CAA Rookie of the Week for Elon. Gator freshman Emma Lapinto named AAC Freshman of the Week. Some of the SSC, the Sunshine State Conference Awards, Montverde alum Justin Williams named the Sunshine State Conference Offensive Player of the Week for St. Leo on the men's side. Florida Tech's Josh Fetter, Defensive Player of the Week. Newsom's Hunter Turner, Specialist of the Week for the Tampa men. Murphy McDonough, Women's Player of the Week for Embry-Riddle. Danny Waters, Women's Defensive Player of the Week for Tampa. there was an interesting article that we're going to link to today out of the Buffalo News, talking about this an amazing story about what this sport can produce. Talking about how when the World Championships in 2020 did not want to acknowledge the Iroquois nation Haudenosaunee entrant on the men's side for the World Championship, Team Ireland gave them their position, gave them their bid. And in 2022, in Buffalo on the St. Patrick's Day parade, representatives of the two are going to be marching together in the parade. And when you read the article, I'm not going to try to give you too many details. I'd rather you just read the link that we send later in the day. But it's the type of thing that I really try to emphasize when I talk to people and get them to look beyond it being a one-loss event and what this sport does mean. Last night, I was close enough to the field. I could hear a little bit of the trash talking back and talk forth early in the game on the boys' game, and thankfully it kind of slowed down. But if I could wave my magic wand and get rid of trash talking, I'd do it in a second. Remember, this is a sport that honors. It's a sport that requires honor. Let's try to keep it down as much as we can. Tempers will always run high in a physical sport where there's hitting and where there's a stick involved. Understand that. I'm just asking, try to get better. That's all. Just try to get better. Okay, key games tonight on the boys' side. Nice 2-3 hosting Oak Hall at 7-1. Wellington, now 8-1, is going to be hosting South Plantation. South Plantation, another team that's kind of hanging on, seeing if they could sneak into the playoffs. Leon 4-3, hosts Charles at 3-4. Again, that could be key up north. Sun Lake at 5-2, hosting Cypress Creek at 6-1. Oviedo 3-3, hosting Vieira at 4-3. And I think that when you look at the scores, there's definitely going to be at-large implications on that one, potentially. And on the girls' side, we're going to have we're going to have Sickles at 5-3, hosting Robinson at 2-3. East Lake at 3-4, hosting Wiregrass Ranch. Palm Beach Central 4-2, hosts Boca Raton at 8-1. Dr. Phillips 5-1, hosts West Orange at 5-2. St. Andrews 5-2, hosting Oxbridge at 3-1. Vieira 5-1, hosting Vero Beach 5-1. They're probably both going to get in, I would think, but this is a nice test to see how far Vieira is coming. Edgewood 6-1 is hosting Holy Trinity Episcopal at 3-2, also on the girls' side. Heavy slate of college games today. If you're maybe looking for something during the day online, Florida Gators are playing Liberty. Florida Southern men are hosting St. John Fisher, Division III school out of my neck of the woods, upstate New York. Palm Beach Atlantic men hosting either Emmanuel or Lincoln Memorial. They're both listed on Inside Lacrosse. I forgot to check the PBA site. Young Harris is hosting the St. Leo men, Rollins men, and Westminster. Florida Southern women playing Wingate. Lynn women are playing Lander. Palm Beach Atlantic women playing Belmont Abbey. Florida Tech women are playing Tusculum. Embry-Riddle women play Davis and Elkins. And the Flagler women are playing North Greenville. Okay. As usual, let's end with the normal stuff, although let's do something I should have done right at the beginning. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Urge others to do so. Follow us at Twitter, Florida LX. Follow us at Facebook, FLA, LAX, NEWS. Get out to a game. If you do so, take a friend. Lay off the refs. Grow the game. Honor the sport. This is Lee Roggenberg, Florida Lacrosse News, saying so long from the Sunshine State.